While OpenAI was busy launching Sora, the full version of o1, ChatGPT Pro, which is set to be one of the best models in the world, Google quietly launched a quantum chip. I read this article as the news literally broke on December 9th, and I couldn't help but get emotional. What we are living in the middle of is what scientists, physicists, engineers, AI researchers, and many other innovative people have been trying to crack the code on for 5 decades. We started drawing thinking machines, neural nets, back on napkins in the 50s. We were dreaming of quantum computing back in the year 1900. Physicist Max Planck proposed the idea that energy is quantized, meaning that energy exists in discrete packets called quanta, and that was the beginning of quantum theory. That was the year 1900. It's 2024, 124 years later. And what breaks on December 9th of this year? This headline from Google: Meet Willow, our state-of-the-art quantum chip. Now, you're going to hear and see a lot of headlines about this claiming that this breaking bit of absolutely crazy news is something you shouldn't pay attention to because we are far away from the commercial use of this chip. But the scientists, quantum engineers, and even a renowned physicist have confirmed on Google's behalf that we're going to see the use of this chip in half a decade. That's 5 years. And it could even be less time than that. You know, one thing I know from spending the last 12 years of my life as an entrepreneur, building businesses, creating high traction marketing campaigns, is that Google isn't very good at products. They actually have a product graveyard called Google Graveyard for a reason. They've struggled with displaying AI in search. Originally, it was called SGE, Search Generative Experience. Now it's called AIO, AI Overviews. The feedback hasn't been that great, but one thing I know that Google is incredible at, and that is technology. We can count on them to be a leader in bedrock technology that drives the entire world forward. Mark my words on that. And for those of you who are critical thinkers, pay attention. This news of Willow, Google's quantum chip dropping, is arguably one of the most important headlines from this entire year. Also, you know what's going to drive quantum forward? AI itself. Yes, artificial intelligence. AI feeds on data, and quantum computing is a way to process data infinitely faster. In fact, it's hard to even put it into a visual graph or put it into something you understand. The number is so great. I know there's a wide mix of you that follow my channel. Some of you are at physicist level yourself, and some of you are just getting started. I'll tell you, you are in the right place right here with me if you care about your future and you believe, like I do, that AI will be the single biggest driving factor of what will usher in a completely new era for humanity. So listen, let me try to put this quantum chip breakthrough into the realm of understanding.
The systems behind our universe are quantum mechanical. They shift and change with the problems they're tasked to solve, exploring a vast array of options all at once. And like nature, quantum computing is responsive to the environments it works within, leading us to new breakthroughs for tomorrow's most challenging problems. Introducing our latest quantum computing chip, developed to learn and evolve like the natural world around us. Willow, from Google Quantum AI.
Hi, I'm Julian Kelly, Director of Hardware at Google Quantum AI. And today, on behalf of our amazing team, I'm proud to announce Willow. Willow is Google's newest and most powerful superconducting quantum computing chip, and the next step in our path towards building large-scale quantum computers and exploring their applications.
This new quantum chip from Google can reduce errors as qubits are scaled. This is a scientific breakthrough that has not been figured out till now. And it has been the key error in the quantum field for more than 30 years, cracking a key challenge in quantum error correction. In under 5 minutes, Willow performed that would take one of today's fastest classical supercomputers, the ones not running on quantum, 10 septillion years to accomplish. That's 10 to the 25th power. Like I said, this is a number you can't even represent on a visual graph. So that's how long a normal computer would take to accomplish what Willow did in under 5 minutes. Guys, I hope you're listening when I tell you that we're looking at one of the biggest breakthroughs, possibly in the last century, with what Google just dropped. To put this into even more perspective, Google's DeepMind team built AlphaGo, which beat the world's top Go champion back in 2015. And what was astounding was how this program actually beat the human. It wasn't trained by any single human how to play the game of Go, which has infinite moves. Instead, AlphaGo learned, understood, and created its own moves, marking a change in history. Google's DeepMind team was behind that. And that has led us to some of the big breakthroughs we have now in artificial intelligence. Back in 2015, that's when the engineers, AI researchers, thought leaders, futurists, physicists all took notice of what they believe was about to hit the world with the AI revolution. This fall 2024, I released a video on my YouTube channel that referenced Hartmut Neven, the founder and lead behind Google Quantum AI and the one who wrote the release announcement for Google's quantum chip Willow. This fall, when I highlighted Hartmut, I believed that quantum computing was on the verge of being figured out, meaning we were going to finally have stabilized qubits that didn't break as they scaled and didn't require us to work in sub-zero temperatures to use our computers. I banked on a future I had no idea was this close, but I knew that the 2020s hold magical things for breakthroughs in technology and science. In that video, I referenced this TED Talk by Hartmut given this summer of 2024, and I want to play a little clip from Hartmut's TED Talk again. This man is one of the deepest thinkers and most optimistic people when it comes to quantum and AI. I want you to listen to a clip from his TED Talk this summer. Hear how he explains the power of quantum.
Quantum computing is the first technology that takes the idea serious that we live in a multiverse. It can be seen as farming out computations to parallel universes. Let me explain. In quantum physics, the key mathematical object to describe many worlds is called superposition. To understand what it is, let's look at this simple system. You just need 3 bits to describe it. Each coin is a 2-state system, heads or tails, 0 or 1. We look at a start state. If I were to know which forces act on the system, then I can predict its trajectory and future states. This is how we reason in classical physics and also in everyday life. But if we were to treat this as a quantum system, then it can branch into many configurations simultaneously, and we have to keep track of all those trajectories, interfere them to make an accurate prediction of what states we are going to see in the future. So the equations of quantum mechanics tell us that at any time, any object, myself or the world at large, exists in a superposition of many configurations. Intriguingly, look around in this room. We are forming a configuration too.
Back when I originally shared this TED Talk of Hartmut, I had several comments that told me I was on the right track. This one comment from Happy in Hillsborough came from somebody involved with the leading post-quantum cybersecurity company. One of their clients was IBM. And they said, quantum is already here. The need to secure systems with quantum-resilient cybersecurity is desperately needed now. If not, we're already too late because some data has been stolen. Which leads me to one of the most important questions surrounding this quantum breakthrough. What are the dangers of this for society? Will it break all encryption, rendering all of our, for example, online banking passwords completely encrypted and out there for hackers to steal? And most of all, what about crypto? Can quantum de-encrypt crypto? People are freaking out. Literally, there are people saying goodbye to Bitcoin over this. Because if you think about it, a new form of computing that can process data in under 5 minutes, that would take a classical supercomputer 10 septillion years to figure out. Well, it sounds like something like that could de-encrypt everything, right? Not so much. So first of all, the blockchain is more secure than many traditional security measures. It is decentralized and uses cryptographic techniques to secure data. Once data is recorded on the chain and then confirmed by the network of the blockchain, altering that data or de-encrypting it becomes very difficult. You would need an overwhelming amount of computational power to figure this out. So de-encrypting cryptography, if it's possible, if we're at that stage, we are looking at more risk to a basic ATM, how we store our passwords in Google Chrome. That should be the bigger worry and the bigger risk than can this de-encrypt or break cryptography. Now, things like smart contracts can be vulnerable because of the anonymous nature, and that's why you hear about criminal activity on the blockchain. Anonymity makes it easy for them to get away and not get identified. But the blockchain itself is usually more secure than a lot of conventional centralized databases we use today. Well, can quantum break Bitcoin? Let's address that head on. Bitcoin relies on 2 types of encryption. To crack the encryption would require over 1 million qubits. For reference, Willow's quantum computing chip has 105 qubits. We would need to see over 1 million qubits stored in one chip to pose any kind of risk to crypto. And with 105 inside Willow, we are a far cry from Willow touching cryptography. Also, Google's progress is something very specific called RCS, random circuit sampling, which is not a mathematical translation into being able to factor large numbers or actively de-encrypt and break encryption. Demonstrating quantum supremacy and beyond classical capabilities is a far cry from executing a specific cryptanalysis task. So, in short, Google's quantum chip isn't even close to breaking down crypto. It's not a threat to Bitcoin, and there is a pretty big gap before any practical quantum processor could pose a real threat to standard cryptography. And like I said earlier, before that becomes a concern, I think we need to worry about all the passwords in Google Chrome, how we access online banking, how we use an ATM machine, and all the other standards of society today that could be de-encrypted by a quantum chip capable of processing so much data so quickly. And that is why post-quantum cryptographic algorithms are going to be critical for us to develop and install into the world and our systems before quantum becomes mainstream and commercially used. And I don't believe Google would stand to benefit if they rolled out something mainstream from their quantum engineering team because it's on Google Chrome. We've got tens of millions of passwords stored. So encryption is something that's going to be very important to Google too. Google released this video from their Google Quantum AI YouTube channel, where their principal scientist, as well as the founder and lead of Google Quantum AI, Hartmut Neven himself, and renowned physicist John Preskill, sat down and talked about this breakthrough. I'm going to share some important clips from this video. Here's the first one where the physicist is talking about Google's hardware in the quantum realm. Take a listen.
The Google hardware has improved a lot in recent years, as we've been hearing, but it still makes lots of mistakes. So they have to run it many times in order to extract a usable signal that can be compared with that classical simulation. They, in fact, run it millions of times, but they can do that in just a few minutes, which is still a very short time compared to the resources you would need to do the same simulation on a classical machine.
John popularized it with the name quantum supremacy at the time. And Google, we tend to call it beyond classical computation. But it's all just the same idea. It's trying to make true experimentally for the first time the promise of quantum computers.
Okay, secondly, one of the most critical clips from this video is about RCS, random circuit sampling. Take a listen to this as well to understand more about this incredible benchmark of quantum performance.
So here at Google, we use this benchmark, random circuit sampling, to compare our latest experimental quantum processors with the best classical algorithms running on the best supercomputers that we have available.
We should emphasize that random circuit sampling is not useful for an application. It's just the entry point. If you can't win on random circuit sampling, you can't win on any other algorithm either. The next challenge will be to train this enormous compute power towards tasks that people on Main Street would care for.
And by the way, even if the people on Main Street don't care, it could still be very interesting. I think the quantum hardware has reached a stage now where it can advance science. We can study very complex quantum systems in a regime that we've never had access to before. And for me as a physicist, that's quite exciting. And with the hardware that people are developing now, which is continuing to improve, we can look for new types of matter that have never existed before and study their properties. That's already a big deal.
With this new quantum computer chip, I believe that we are about to accelerate progress in some pretty important areas, like nuclear fusion and new energy alternatives. To power the AI age, we need more sources of efficient energy. For some context, if we solve nuclear fusion, we get a fuel that is on the order of millions of times greater than that of conventional chemical and fossil fuel energy sources. Did you hear that? 1,000,000 times. If quantum solves nuclear fusion, we are looking at the domino effects of what will power this entirely new age, accelerating towards us. And what is possible? Well, like I've said in other videos, imagine trying to explain coding a page to appear on the internet in front of millions of people to a peasant farming his field back in the 1400s. That person wouldn't even have been able to understand what you were talking about. And so I believe that painting a picture of what is coming our way after, for example, quantum solves nuclear fusion, and we have a form of energy 1,000,000 times more powerful than anything today, and power and energy itself becomes 1,000,000 times more affordable for humanity. Well, for one, just imagine clean water for everyone across the world, which is a basic to a lot of us here in America, but not even accessible to so many other people. And then beyond that, imagine what jobs, imagine what work and what life itself will look like. Imagine, as my good friend Dave Shapiro puts it, that we're able to turn our children from laborers into investors. You add AGI and AI into that. By the way, AI is going to drive the future of all of this. It is a better decision maker than any human. You know what's crazy? I'll give you a little secret. Putting all the research together for this video, my best friend was ChatGPT Pro, the $200 model now available in ChatGPT. It gave me some of the deepest thoughts I've ever read, said in the most understandable ways about all of this. That said, I still watched probably 10 videos about quantum and Google's blog, so it was very much a human and machine process. But with technology like this now at our fingertips, which we were never able to access or even dream of before, it's here, guys. Our future is going to be hard to imagine. And I think the best thing you could do right now is test your dreams. Are you dreaming big enough about the future of work? The future of what your business could look like, the future of what efficiency could look like, the future of removing yourself from every manual labor process, giving yourself back your freedom? creating streams of income with AI that fuel that lifestyle, and then thinking about what your children will experience in the next age. Boy, this was a crazy video to film. I feel like I'm living in an alternate reality. I truly did not believe Google would be announcing a quantum chip this soon, and I feel like it was just dropped on us. But it will change everything. Today is the start of that change. And if you see what's coming and you take advantage of it right now, not later, you're going to have the first mover's advantage. I built a team and a company that is helping businesses do just that, gain their first mover's advantage. We look at every single situation, every single business at a very customized level. We build specific bots, workflows, and integrations just for your scenario and your situation. I believe that customized AI integrations is the future of how to accelerate and gain 25 times efficiency ahead of your competitors. And so that is what my company, First Movers, is all about. To learn more about what we do, go to firstmovers.ai. And as always, if you haven't, subscribe to my channel here on YouTube at Julia McCoy. And I will do my best to help bring you into the new AI age. We got to do this together. It's going to take all of our minds and a heck of a lot of optimism. Drop me a comment about your thoughts on Google's quantum chip, and I look forward to seeing you down the next AI rabbit hole.